Okay, we are here for the third of our Bond tier lists. This is Bond Girls. This is a little bit of a tougher list to make. You could get like probably 100 and some if you counted every single girl that you ran into in the movies. Some, are just flings at the beginning of a film. Some are, key characters. Some are very, very important characters. Um, all different dynamics too. So what I did was I just kind of picked the main two, three, whatever from a specific movie. Honestly, if I remembered them like as having some significance, I included them in here. There's some I won't remember as much as others for sure, and I might like think, oh, I really don't remember that person now that I think about it. For those that if they don't take me out of a movie, I kind of did this with the Allies video. They'll be in the C category. It's like they didn't blow me away, obviously, because I don't remember them and they didn't take away. So we'll have them there. D's will be, those where it was like, yeah, that's really bad choice and distracting and awful. I don't know that there will be any. I haven't really thought about this one too much. So hopefully I have all the names and movies and I get them right. We are in order of the films. Unlike the Allies video, there's not really somebody who's like played by multiple characters, except maybe one. So we'll be able to just go movie by movie, which is a little easier. Um, I don't think there's anything else I'd qualify. It's really hard to explain how I will rate them because I don't know the answer. There's obviously how hard are they? How much do they, how much are they around Bond? Do they hook up with Bond? Like all those things. But some of it's going to be, do they have like an emotional connection to him in any way? Like, or a significance in his mission? Do they play a key role in like him and his personality, which can be few and far between, right? But there's just a lot of different dynamics that could come into play. So we'll see, and I'll just try to explain each one. And I'm sure at the end, I will just be like, "Oh, this is why I like this one more than the other one." Certainly, personal preference will come into play. I'm sure everybody has different Bond girls that they like. Some are classic characters that maybe I won't rate as high, and others maybe people hate that I like or don't mind. All right, so we will start with the classic, Doctor No. I included three from Doctor No just because there were three that like stuck in my head. There is the classic scene of Ursula Andress, coming out of the water in Doctor No, singing the song, and Sean Connery walks out and starts singing, and she's just there to fish, and that's it, and then gets roped into this whole thing. She's not like some secret agent or whatever. So just kind of there. But it's Ursula Andress, obviously very classic, very beautiful. Just kind of a not a I don't want to say a ditzy character, just a character who is just there, along for the ride, which was fine. She's definitely an A. I liked her a lot. I liked that character within that movie. I don't think everybody has to be a secret agent, and she's certainly there and capable for what they're needing to do at least. Then we have a couple of others. One is Miss Tarot. She's just kind of the spy, I think, like the one who's calling in the hey FYI time to kill James Bond thing. But she was memorable, and it's just the scene. Like I've got this scene here because for some reason I remember this scene, much like I remember the last scene. Growing up, seeing Doctor No a little bit. For some reason, just the girl on the phone on the bed, everything just reminds me of watching it the first time. I'll have her as a B. I don't think she really did a whole lot. She wasn't in the movie a ton, but she was a character I remember. Then we have Sylvia Trench. So interesting one here. I think she's in two movies. I think she was in From Russia with Love for a minute as well. But just kind of the Bond love interest, beautiful girl at the poker table or whatever they were playing back then. Um, that Bond recognizes, and they flirt and do the thing at the table, and then and she's just the love interest. Like there's no, we'll see that later, but no like ulterior motive or trying to get him killed. So she's just a good character. I will have her as an A as well. I think they're just two classic Bond characters. We get farther in and have to move people around and down. That's fine. All right. So From Russia with Love, I only have one in here. Maybe I'm missing something, but so Tatiana Romanova is the Russian girl that is tapped to try to get at Bond. I looked up at some point. I know within the novels, like Smersh, I think is the big deal, the Russian agency, and then in this, it's actually there, and she thinks that Rosa Kleb's still working for Smersh or something, so she's doing her role, but she's really serving the hand of Spectre. She doesn't really know that until the end, but she falls in love with James along the way. There's some classic scenes in this movie. Just the train scenes are great, and she's just a really capable actress in this movie. So I'm gonna give her an A as well, and I'll move down a little bit for Sylvia. She just doesn't have as much to do, and I want to be fair to some of these girls who carried a lot more. All right. Speaking of not doing a whole lot, but just thinking about Goldfinger again, some classic girls that I remember from seeing it a long time ago, and then watching it again to validate. Oh yeah, I remember that now. But this was a scene. You're a young kid, and you're like, oh my gosh, girl in the bath. But she is calling in to kill Bond. So be careful what you wish for, right? It's like, oh, that's the good. Like, whoops, don't want to do that. So I'll have her down in the B category too. I mean, maybe a C. She's just fine. I mean, there's not much to that character. Okay, another classic picture here. This is Jill Masterson. So Jill got put in gold. The old classic Goldfinger kill for ratting him out and trying to help Bond. And becomes important within a movie. You don't see this too often, but because the sister gets involved, it reminds me of what was like Psycho or something. It was like that. But classic character, classic scene. The character doesn't have a ton to do. I'm going to say B, but she's great. I mean, that's a great scene. All right. Here's an example of a classic character, Pussy Galore. Like most people remember her, remember the planes, and I didn't put all the like other girls who fly the planes. There was actually one on rewatch. I should have looked up which one it was, but there's one of the girls who I was like, oh my gosh, she should be a Bond girl. Like she's super hot, like and she's got a great smile and all this stuff. I'm like they should have cast her for another movie. But anyway, Pussy Galore leads that group, and Bond eventually like gets close to her, and I think there's a little controversy around like how did he why did she flip sides just because she like slept with him or whatever. I agree to an extent, like they should have given her a motive to want to flip a little bit more. It would have helped, but at the same time you had to be careful because it gets rid of the like surprise of the scene, of the people waking up and doing stuff. So I get it, but I thought she was fine. I thought it was a good character for sure. She's not like my favorite, but Pussy Galore's a good character. And then we also still within Goldfinger have Jill Masterson. This is one of the things that makes this movie good. For a lot of reasons, it's good, but like, oh, you've got this other girl who's trying to chase down what happened to her sister, and then she gets killed. Like another girl gets killed. An Oddjob, I think, gets her with the hat after a car chase, and it's like, okay, you don't always win the car chase. Okay, you don't always save the girl. It's very good scenes right there. So I'll have her as a B as well. All right, Domino and Thunderball. Great pick there as well. So, kind of a callback to the original. But, Domino was super hot, super cool character, I thought. Had good rapport with James Bond. Felt like more rapport with her than maybe some of the others at times, too. That was, just seemingly something I picked up on. but I'll have her as an A as well. And then we have in the same movie a couple of others that I was just going to have in there because they're somewhat memorable. So Fiona Volpe is, classic, like, oh yeah, you can love me and then I'm going to kill you kind of person. And so she was pretty pretty good for being like the villain girl, I thought, and like pretty convincing to like be a good, good guy and then flip. But I thought, yeah, I liked her character and how like conniving she was. She whoever the actress was, and I don't have it listed, like she did a good job. I'm gonna have her as a B. She might move, but just because she wasn't like a Bond girl. I included this one because this was kind of an interesting one, like Thunderball Patricia Fearing. So he's at like a recovery facility or something, and like he's trying to get this girl to sleep with him, and it's kind of like he was a little too assertive. is some of the controversy around it, but I just do remember her, and for some reason, this is another one of those scenes like growing up and seeing a little bit of Thunderball. I remember like the nurse kind of wagging a finger kind of deal, so I included her in here as well. She didn't do a whole lot. I'll just have her down there in the C category. And C's not bad. It just means they didn't have a lot to do. Or that I, again, forgot them a bit. Okay, this is Paula Kaplan playing. Paula Kaplan's the character, I think. I can't tell. It's hard to tell. But anyway, in Thunderball, she's like an agent that helps them and is with James, and they're trying to like get on the other girl's boat, Domino and all that. So like very attractive. One of the girls where I was just like, why stay in the movie longer? Like, what are you doing? Don't just drive your boat off and go do your own thing. So I wish she was in it more. I would have her as a B. All right, we get to You Only Live Twice. This is set in Japan. It's kind of a weird dynamic at times because like you think you've got a Bond girl, she ends up dying, and then you get another one and you end up married, or at least in ceremony to her. It's kind of a strange dynamic. And then there's like another girl who's a secretary who I included. But Aki is the first girl, the girl who gets killed. And I liked Aki. She was the one who I was like, oh, okay, Aki's good. I'm gonna have Aki as a B tier, but I liked her. And I can just skip over because the other girl is let's see, Kissy Suzuki. Again, hopefully the name is right. And I mean their character name and not the actress name. But she was the one who was married and like with James, and when he dressed up to look Japanese for however successful that was. But to put on airs to get him on the island to be able to do everything he needed to do to get the Blofeld and everything. So she was fine. I didn't like her as much as Aki, so I'm going to have her as a C tier. And then right before that, I had, there's a couple of others here. So like you have Helga Brandt. So Helga, I think, was the secretary, if I'm not mistaken. And ends up, I don't even think Bond ends up killing her. I think she gets killed by Blofeld or something like that. But I cannot quite remember. So Helga, I will have in the C category as well. Just don't remember that much. And then this one, Ling. I think Ling is also a C tier, but Ling is a very beginning of the movie character that Bond's sleeping with, and she ends up like putting him in the bed that flips up into the wall, and he gets shot, but it's just a ruse to like fake his death so that you only live twice. So she's like a Chinese agent that's on their side. But Ling's fine. I was just side character there. All right, so far no terribles. We have this Ruby. So Ruby, I think, is the girl in On Her Majesty's Secret Service. So again, George Lazenby movie. We're not in Bond Sean Connery Bond territory anymore. So different, like suave dynamic, right, with the girls. You kind of have to adjust to that within the movie. It's not Sean Connery anymore, but it is this, model turned actor, George Lazenby. But he goes up to this, and I cannot remember what they call these girls. There's like a group of girls that Blofeld has that are called something. The angels, the devils, I don't know. But there's several of them, and they're all kind of like brainwashed into doing certain things. I think this is the one that like writes on his leg and then meets him and sleeps with him or whatever in his room. Hopefully I got that right, but I think it's Ruby, and she's fine. I mean, I didn't think there was too much to her either. Just kind of okay. Don't remember much else besides the fact that she wrote that. Then we have Tracy or Teresa, I think, Countess Teresa. So Tracy is maybe the most important Bond girl in the series. I had no idea that was the case. I'd never seen On Her Majesty's Secret Service growing up. Didn't know the story. Didn't realize James Bond ever got married. But he did. And it was like legitimate marriage, not the, kind and You Only Live Twice where he's ceremonially married. But I struggled with this one because I watched the movie without knowing what was going to happen, and got to the end, and I was like, whoa. And it's hard because it's not Connery, right? And then Connery comes back, and Connery's like getting revenge for her in the next movie, but it doesn't feel earned because he wasn't the one that fell in love with her. It's George Lazenby, not her. And then I was also like, I don't remember them really falling in love like enough to like be married / whatever. I remember him saving her at the beginning. I remember him bailing her out or whatever at the poker table. But I didn't remember anything else. On a little bit of rewatch, like I went back and just checked a couple of scenes like she was in. I was like, oh, okay. I kind of checked out during the montage, right? There was kind of a montage of them spending time together that I guess alludes to like, okay, now they're good. But it really started when her father, paid Bond to go see her. Now I think, and this is where I had a little bit of issue with it too, and I read up on it. In the books, I think it's a happenstance that Bond runs into her. Like, she's one of the girls he runs into and then ends up falling in love with, which, okay. This one at the beginning, he's like monitoring her and she ends up trying to like, walk into the ocean or whatever. And I'm just like, okay, I mean, what's the mission? Like, what are you really doing? Like, why is this important? Blah, blah, blah. So anyway, I just thought the backstory and everything wasn't great. So, but to get back to her, I thought she was fine. She's not my favorite. She's okay. I'll have her as a B. It doesn't mean she's not the most important. It doesn't mean she's not whatever. It's just like in terms of being a Bond girl, I'm like, I didn't need her around all that much. Included a couple funny ones here from Diamonds Are Forever. So Bambi and Thumper, who aren't really Bond girls, are just beating him up. I kind of used the mindset of, hey, if they ever got physical with Bond, they should be in here. And they did. They just kicked his ass for a while. Until he threw them in the pool, and then they had Felix or whoever showed up to bail him out. But I thought it was a funny little scene. I mean, it's a campy movie. I won't put him in like D tier. I'll have him a C tier. It's kind of dumb, but whatever. Sometimes Bond movies got to be a little dumb. In between that, we had Plenty O'Toole. So, funny Bond name, right? The most depressing part of this is I thought she was awesome. I, again, wanted her to be in the movie more. She just went up to his room before anything could happen. People showed up. She gets thrown out the window. You're like, oh no. And then she lands in the old pool, survives. But yeah, the girl was hot. I thought they had good chemistry. I don't know. You're just like, okay, I guess not. Which makes it tough because I would probably put, I'm going to put her as an A. I liked her. Sorry. People don't care about her, but I do. All right. And then we have Tiffany case, ha ha ha, jewelry, Tiffany case, diamonds forever. Um, Also, attractive lead. She gets in her bikini at the end, and Thunderball that, but she's incompetent a bit. Like she kind of gets in the way. She's always changing disguises, like her hair and everything. One girl gets killed because they think it's her, but she was, it was a wig or whatever. So that was all okay. And then at the end, she's running around, but she like kind of knocks something over, falls over, um, and she's fine. I mean, I'll have her as a B. She was okay in an okay movie. All right, we get to Live and Let Die. So now we are in the Roger Moore. So Roger Moore, I included 3 here, I think, from Live and Let Die. This first one was kind of a funny scene. So he's like sleeping with this girl, and then everybody shows up to his house, and M, or I think M and Moneypenny, maybe, I don't think he was there, but this girl's trying to sneak around, hides in the closet. Moneypenny ends up, hiding her and making sure Bond doesn't get caught and everything. Just a cute little fun scene, and Roger Moore's charming. It's a good intro to like his style of Bond, I thought. So I'll have her as a B as well. All right, Rosie Carver. This was Live and Let Die. Was kind of, they always call it like blaxploitation films, like in the 70s, where you've got a lot of the kind of cultural elements and things in there. And I think they could have done a lot better with this role. She was very annoying to me whenever I was watching it. And she ends up being like a double agent who turns on him. Whether you could see it coming or not, I kind of saw it coming. But I did not like that role at all. And I thought they could have done way better with it. The concept was fine. It's just, I don't know if it was the actress or the dialogue or whatever, kind of took me out of the role. And there were other things in this movie that did that too. So it's not just that, but J.W. Pepper, looking at you. But, it is, could have been better characters. A shocker in this movie. I had not seen Live and Let Die when I was young, and so this was the first time. I had no idea that Jane Seymour was in a Bond movie when she was young. And I had no idea, because we grew up with like Dr. Quinn, a medicine woman. If you remember that. But she was always attractive in that. But anyway, she plays the kind of mysterious solitaire who uses her tarot cards to read the future and like does a pretty good prediction, of what's going on unless she sleeps with somebody, and then she loses her ability to do that. And so it's like the Mr. Big's like, don't you dare, don't you dare. And then she does with James Bond, and then you're, deep stuff. There was a cool element in this movie of like mysticism, voodoo stuff, where it didn't really like explicitly say it all the way, but it just showed enough where you're like, wait a minute, how's Baron Zimity or whatever his name is like coming back? Like, what are we doing here? But it's kind of cool. And it's a little different than a lot of Bond movies. So I like that. And I liked how kind of she was different and, a mysterious type character. I'm going to give her an A as well. All right. We get to the man with the golden gun. Andrea Anders. This is Scaramunga's girl, mistress, I think. So she's on the island, and she helps Bond out, and ends up sleeping with her. I didn't like her that much. I thought she was kind of a throwaway character. I didn't really have too much connection with her character. I'll have her down in the C category, I think, to start. Okay, now we have Miss Goodnight. So Mary Goodnight. I would assume this character's hated. Absolutely hated. Or a lot of people wouldn't like her. She's not the best like assistant to Bond. She's very clumsy and kind of like always in the way, and kind of naive and ditzy. And they're at Scaramunga's lair, and it's like, oh, I accidentally ran into this. Oh, actually this didn't work, and blah blah blah. She's she's an agent, so she's supposed to be more capable than that. And then she's, kind of flirty with Bond every now and then, and can't quite seal the deal. That said, I kind of liked her. Something about her, something about just her quirkiness or whatever was different, and the movie was goofy to an extent. Maybe there were other movies that kind of character would fit in better. But I don't care. It was better than some of the boring stuff. Like Andrea Anderson is a boring character. It's kind of a repetitive character. This was something different, and so that was fine. And then we have one more in Golden Gun, which is Saida. So she's the belly dancer that he has to get the bullet from in her belly. And so he takes her into a back room and has to figure it out before he gets captured. And he almost gets captured. But she's fine. I'll have her down in the C category as well. It was just a fun little scene. All right, The Spy. Spy Who Loved Me. We have Anya Amasova, Agent XXX, XXX. Barbara Bach, famously Ringo Starr's wife. She is one that I remember from growing up. I don't remember that movie much. I remember Jaws. I remember her. Don't remember hardly anything else until I watched again. She's always been one of my favorites. Still is one of my favorites, so I'm going to have her in the S tier. Beautiful, capable, not like overly spy person, not overly ditzy girl, just good character, good rapport with Roger Moore. Really liked it, so I thought she's awesome in that role. We have Felicia from The Spy Who Loved Me and Naomi as well. So Felicia, I don't remember. I'm trying to remember. Maybe an early girl in the movie, but don't remember. So I'm going to have to put her in the C category. Maybe it'll come to me. I do, however, remember Naomi. So Naomi, beautiful girl coming up in her, bikini to Bond, and it's all fun and games. And then she gets in a helicopter and tries to blow him away. Kind of got that crazy. She's like Xenia from GoldenEye to me. Like she's that girl where it's like she gets off at killing. And so I thought she was a fun character to have. I'm gonna give her an A. Didn't have a ton to do, but I like the model of what they set with somebody like that. And I don't think I'd seen that too much before. All right, we have Moonraker. So in Moonraker, we've got a few here, 3. So this is Corinne Dufour. Corinne is a helicopter pilot, works with Drax. He ends up killing her in a very awful way. One of the worst ways I think I've seen in the Bond movies up to this point. Sicking the dogs on her. And so they chase her through the forest. She's running away. They catch up to her, and then that's it. So I don't know that there was a whole lot to her character, but I thought she was fine. I thought it was she was a good actress or whatever in that role, and it was all good. The second one, we have Molly Goodhead. This is who ends up going to space with James and sneaks around, the Moonraker base to get in the rocket. And she's fine. She's fine. I don't know that I remember too much besides just her being there. She's fine. We'll start her in B, but we'll see. And then I included this girl's Manuela. I just remember Bond, whichever location he was on. Moonraker had some pretty locations, I think. If it was, Brazil or something like that, I don't remember. But Cuba maybe, can't remember. So she was just I think an agent that he was running into who was supposed to help him at whatever, and they, didn't sleep together or anything from what I recall. I don't remember too much about her. I'll have her as a C, but I think she's a character who could have done more. If they would have kept her in, that would have been somewhat interesting. So just didn't have the runtime. All right, we get to For Your Eyes Only. So this is a little bit of a different one for me from a girl standpoint. It feels like there was a different vibe in this one because it was a little more serious than maybe the prior ones. The first, well, I say that now I get to talk about the first girl here. This is Bibi Doll, like Baby Doll, who is the world class ice skater, gonna go to the Olympics, getting trained by the evil villain that we didn't know was evil at first. Tries to sleep with James. She doesn't look very old. So I'm sure there's an age gap there for them, but she is, flirtatious and just trying to like get him in bed, and kind of quirky and goofy. I didn't think it was too terrible to like put her down in D, but she's kind of dumb to me. Then we have the Countess Lissel von Schloff. So the Countess is, I think, the second Countess. Teresa was the last one. But I don't remember her too much. I don't really remember what like she was trying to get from James in the movie. So I just kind of have to have her as a C. Like I remember being in it, but it wasn't very memorable, which kind of happens with that movie a little bit for me. But we get to Melina Havelock, so a bit of a sympathetic character here. She sees her family gunned down. Father was like a guy who was kind of in the wrong place, the wrong time, and then they ended up taking him out through a helicopter or plane. I can't remember, but shot at a boat, and the parents get killed. So anyway, she's kind of the, I'll figure it out. I'll get it. Don't worry about it, James. Blah blah blah. But they end up, falling in love, and I don't know that it really like resonated with me that they were a good couple. So I kind of have her as a C as well. I didn't really love the girls in For Your Eyes Only. All right. So we get to Octopussy. We have a couple. We've got Magda. Magda was kind of a villain. She's mean. She's kind of seemed mean like whole time. But I thought she was fine. Like I kind of liked having her in the movie to have a girl like that. So we'll keep her in. But yeah, she was of Kamal Khan, I think, was just always at his side. So I liked her. And then we have Octopussy. Very rare that the girl's the title of the movie, but this is it. Just a more powerful woman in this movie. Like she had a lot of business interests and stuff, and James was trying to help her out, and I thought she was good. I'll have her as a B. I had the circus and everything like that, or famous, clown scenes with Roger Moore. Although, justified. He needed to dress like a clown to escape. It happens. All right, we get to another domino. So second domino has fallen. This is Never Say Never Again, so the non-canon version of Bond. Kim Basinger, she's more of a dancer and girlfriend of the villains. So she's hard to get to, but they Bond and the villain have a rapport. Largo in this one, where he's able to be around her. He asks her to dance, and they dance together, and they build that love over time. So it was fine. It's kind of weird, Sean Connery's older at that point, but it's still fine. I thought Kim Basinger did good in it. And then we have Fatima Blush. She was mean. She's blowing people up. She's blowing up rooms. She's walking around ready to kill whoever's around her. I liked her. I think she's an A. Again, similar to the like crazy girl mindset. That's kind of fun with some of the villain girls. Right. Patricia Fearing. So again, this is the same concept we had before. I'll just have her down there. It's the, nurse recovery deal, and it's like a spa more than a hospital kind of thing. All right. Then we get View to a Kill. There's one girl in here I think I've got that I don't recognize. And then a couple that I'm like getting confused. So the one I don't get confused is Mayday. Mayday is a classic character. Mayday, I remember from being young. I don't think I had seen all of View to a Kill for sure. I remember somewhat of Christopher Walken being in it. Certainly remember Mayday's character. Don't remember her arc, her motives until this time. Does sleep with Bond is kind of a, the villain knows it's like, hey, go do it. And then at the end, she gets, they turn on her and she like has to escape with Bond and ends up sacrificing herself to blows up at the end. So, has an arc, a bit of an arc to do it. And I think she's a memorable character. I'll have her as a B. It's kind of a, it's hard. I didn't put her like in the villain category of being like the most evil villain. So we'll see. But, she's still a villain. All right. Then let's see, Kimberly Jones is the first one. And then the last one is Stacy Sutton. So Stacy's the main girl. The bridge at the end and the blimp and the falling. And she kind of gets on my nerves. I don't like her a lot. I'm going to have her as a C. She's kind of forgettable to me. Don't remember her much. These other girls I just don't remember. Like Paula Ivanova at this like sauna. I just don't remember her. I'll put her down there. Just didn't even register in the same with Kimberly. Maybe it'll come to me, but trying to see where she's at to like see if there's a scene where I would remember her with. Could be like at the beginning and he's like, that's who he sleeps with, but I don't remember. All right. We won't get hung up on that. So we'll get to the new Bond again. We get to The Living Daylights. So we're now out of the Roger Moore era. We are in the Timothy Dalton era. So again, a different Bond. I mentioned in another movie, I was surprised at how much better Dalton was at the kind of suaveness than I would have thought. I had not seen those movies. And it wasn't like this, Roger Moore version of it or even Sean Connery. It was just him, his thing. The first girl here, actually, I'm going to skip the first one, but Linda's the second one. It's the first girl he runs into, which was kind of a weird interaction. They just killed like these other 00 agents and he lands on this boat after escaping and then, talking to this girl and she's hoping to find a more fun, adventurous man than whatever rich guy with a yacht she's with. And then he lands on the boat and, they're like, oh, get back in an hour. He's like, make it 2. Or he said, I'll be back in an hour. And they're like, make it 2. Not sure if he would have really made that quip after that moment, but, it was just kind of a scene, kind of a iconic scene for Dalton Bond to me. She's just a C. Like, I don't think she did much, but she's there. The main girl within The Living Daylights is Cara Milivoy, played by Miriam Diabo. I vaguely remember her from being in this movie growing up, and then she has a relative, Olivia Diabo, who's in other movies. They aren't like sisters. I don't know that they're direct cousins. I think they're like second cousins. So I looked that up at some point because I was like, they have to be related. You don't just have that last name and be blonde and not be related. But anyway, so I went into this kind of thinking, oh, she's probably ditzy. She's probably kind of a dumb character. Like, this probably isn't going to be good. I had much more enjoyment in watching her character than I thought. Like, some of it was a little weird. Like at the beginning, she's a sniper, and it's part of the story that like Bond just shoots the gun instead of her. He's supposed to kill her, but she was going to kill somebody else, and blah blah blah. But she's also a famous, was a cellist, bassist cellist, I think, something like that. She had a giant cello case is the thing, and some fun chase scenes with that. But I liked her a lot, and I liked her rapport with Timothy Dalton. I got to the end of that movie, and I said, you know what? Those two might actually love each other, which you don't get with a lot of the Bonds. It's like you're just sleeping with the girl. But I liked her a lot. I'm going to have her, I'll have her in my A tier for sure. Yeah. Okay, now we get to the Living Daylights, or I'm sorry, License to Kill, out of the Living Daylights into the License to Kill. Tricky one here because you got two kind of Bond girls. You've got Katana from Mortal Kombat, aka Lupe Lamora, and then Pam Bouvier. So Pam is the second one is a secret agent, like CIA, I think, something like that, who is constantly working with Bond and like has an attraction to Bond, and at the end she's disappointed that Bond didn't fall in love with her. So he jumps over the rail into the pool, and she ends up being the one he's with. So she's kind of the main one, and then the other one, Lupe, is the mistress of the main villain, who she's I don't remember the full backstory, but it's like one of those things where she had to escape whatever home she's in. It's like the way she got out, and she wants to get to a better life. She wants to be a better person. Would have thought she'd have been the one who's like turn coat, throw him out the window, whatever, calling the guards to kill him. But she didn't do that. And in fact, at the end, Bond, is making out with her and holding her and all this stuff. Now she does show a little bit of that like vanity where she had saved an iguana or something that had diamonds on it, and had been a bit notorious, I guess, for like sleeping around. So maybe not the best character girl to stay with, and so you go be with the CIA agent. That said, if it's me, I'm picking Lupe. Lupe's better, so I'm going to take her as an A, and I'm going to move the other one to a B. Might pay for that later, but you know what? It's fine. All right, GoldenEye. We get to the Brosnan era. So Pierce is a little bit more suave too. He's got that charm and connection. So the first one's just a girl he's with in a car, Caroline. It's not much to that. I'm just gonna have her as a C. And then we get to the two main girls here. So first I'll talk about Xenia. So Xenia is a villain, flat out. She's not even trying to sleep with James Bond and then kill him. She just does her thing where she tries to kill him with her thighs, like wraps around and kills him, and like gets off on it. Famke Janssen, like famous for the role, becomes Jean Grey later. So people probably know for that more now, but she is an awesome character. Like just sells the role, makes you love her, hate her, you name it. Good fights, fun fights. She's an S tier to me. So what does that do to the other one? This other girl, I don't even know who the actress is. Probably should know, but I don't. So we're stuck with Natalia. She's not Xenia. She's just Natalia. Oh, Bo, no. Natalia is a very capable computer programmer, and she's also got a good rapport with one of the villains, Boris, and then that like kind of plays along throughout the movie, which is cool. And then she's also kind of a badass. She's like got a fight to her and a spirit to her. That's a good counter to Pierce Brosnan's Bond. Also, has to hold her own toward the end of the movie. So she's a great Bond girl. Like, it's surprising that you could have two Bond girls carry so much in a movie, but I think she did an excellent job too. So I'm gonna have her as an A. I don't know that I'd have her S tier, but she's a really good Bond girl. So we'll see. All right, we're through GoldenEye. We're now to Tomorrow Never Dies. So Tomorrow Never Dies has two girls that I kind of recognized or called out here. I don't know if there are more. We have first, let's see. So Paris, it's Paris is her name. Paris Carver is Terry Hatcher. And then you have, was it Michelle Yeoh? Was that the actress? Who's Wei Lin. So Terry Hatcher, this Paris Carver character, is an ex of Bond. They run into each other again. She has married the mogul, who is the villain. She misses Bond. She loves Bond. You can tell. You kind of get the feeling he loves her too. And he left her, for a mission or whatever, a long time ago. Who knows, how close they were, I really don't know, but close enough to where when she gets murdered, it's like meaningful. Now, there's probably people who knock Terry Hatcher being the pick here for a Bond movie, but I thought she was fine. I really enjoyed her in the role. Maybe it's just because I grew up at that time. She was in Lois and Clark with Dean Cain. That's probably where I knew her before that. But I thought she was good. I felt some emotional weight in a movie I didn't really care all that much for. I thought she was really good. So I'm going to have her as an A. And then, so Michelle Yeoh, I think that's the actress. She's, got a lot of experience with like martial arts and action and stuff, which is great because like you have a very, powerful ally in a Bond movie when it's like a kick-ass girl like that. And she does. They have fun scenes together. There's like the motorcycle chase scene's a fun scene. There's some other fight scenes and things that are great. That said, I didn't feel any chemistry with her and Pierce Brosnan. It was kind of always this forced thing. Like, oh, we're, taking a shower together, so why not? And oh, we're, in water together, why not? And yet it was like his romantic love interest at the end. I don't know what I would have done because, like, if you're gonna kill Terry Hatcher's character, you kind of have to have somebody. But I don't think it was her, or at least the way they framed her in the movie, or there wasn't enough of a moment to like take a breath to be something more than what they were. So I thought she was okay. She was awesome as an action star. Like if you told me, and I probably should have put her in like my allies list, I'd have been like, oh yeah, she was a great ally. Like very good. Bond girl, she's okay. I'll probably have her down in the B category. A little bit reminiscent of this other girl from License to Kill to me. All right. The World Is Not Enough. We have Denise Richards. So Denise Richards plays Christmas Jones, who is an American nuclear physicist in Russia and disarming bombs or something. Like, I don't know. Look, Denise Richards is hot. She was hot like in the 90s when I was growing up, and I was always like, oh yeah, that'd be good. She totally takes me out of this movie. Not in the good way. I just, part of it probably is the writing and the character. Like, why is there an American girl like in Russia doing this? It's not where I would do it. Run into her in like New York. I don't get that. But then the dialogue kind of was wooden. There were times when it's like you're trying to be emotional, but it's like just comes off as yelling or something. And I didn't like her, so I'm going to have her as a D. I hate to say it, but it is. Then we get to The World Is Not Enough, Electra King. So this is the other girl. She is the daughter who was saved from being kidnapped, was not, the ransom wasn't paid, $5 million or something like that to get her out. So she now holds this tremendous grudge. You don't know it. And then she ends up being a villain, but she is, kind of slept with Bond, been around Bond, seems to love Bond. He's tricked enough to where like he hasn't paid attention and then gets tortured and all this stuff for a little bit. But she was good. I thought she was a fine character. I don't know that I'd have her in the A category, but I'll have her in the B category. And like, we need to even out some of these. Like she's probably more of a C. We'll do that later. Getting toward the end here. Okay, we are now on, oh no, this is still The World Is Not Enough. I forgot about her being in this one. I thought she was in Die Another Day. But this is Molly Warmflash. She's like a nurse who was nursing James back to health and slept with him. They made a comment about like workplace etiquette. Might have been Moneypenny saying that. But she's fine. I'll just have her down in the C category. All right, we have Halle Berry as Jinx. Now, Halle Berry's very hot. She was not good in this role. Like, and again, similar to Denise Richards, maybe it's the script, maybe it's this absurdity of the plot. I don't know, but just something about it didn't like feel natural. There were one-liners that were kind of like dumb and like, where's that coming from? Part of me wonders or wishes like she would have maybe been a Bond girl in an earlier film. Not about an age at all. It's just she was so popular for a year, like since the early '90s probably, and like I could have seen her being, in an earlier Bond film too that maybe had a better script. Is why I say that before it got so absurd. Um, maybe not, but just yeah. So Jinx is her name in the movie. I did not like it. I'm gonna have it down as a D. Um, all right. So another girl in Die Another Day is Miranda. So Miranda is a love interest kind of deal, and she's part of the club, the fencing club, and uh, you know, very prim and proper, kind of seems mean naturally. So you probably assume she's going to be mean. But I thought she was fine. I thought she was a B. It was a little absurd. I didn't even really catch like her arc of why she's trying to destroy the world. She was on the fencing team with the villain, is what I understand. And then they like didn't catch it, and so she joined MI6, and then this whole thing's just about like protocols and like bonds this, bonds that, which is fine. It's fine to have that mole with an MI6. I just didn't quite grasp the revenge play unless I missed something, which I definitely could have. I at least understood what, as absurd as it was, I at least understood, some of the villain's motivations in it. All right, we get to, again, new Bond. To wrap it up, we have the Daniel Craig girls. Again, a different rapport you might have with the Daniel Craig. He's a little more gruff. He's not quite as romantic. He's, whatever. So the first girl we have here is it Solange Demetrios? So she is the girl of a dude playing poker at the beginning, who's the villain, and he's the bomb buyer or something, but he kind of ignores her, is mad at her, and then Bond ends up getting close to her and sleeping with her, and she gives up information, that whole thing. But I thought she was good. I did. I liked her character. I'll have her as a B maybe to start. She ends up getting killed, so she's not in it at the time, but she's good. All right, Vesper Lynd. So this is Ava Green playing Vesper Lynd, and Vesper is I didn't know Casino Royale. I didn't read the book or anything. She's like one of the most important characters in the whole Bond, saga. She betrays him, and then ends up, figuring out like she still loves him and kills herself at the end, or like lets herself die. But yeah, Bond, she's the whole time she's kind of helping. She's a banker, but she's actually she's kind of trying to get out of a blackmail with her boyfriend, who's she loves apparently, but he ends up, I think, going with another girl. I mean, this whole thing of just spy stuff. But anyway, she, is with Daniel Craig. She doesn't buy him back in at the tournament because I think she wants him to lose, or she's trying to get to the money somehow. I can't remember. But anyway, then she, goes away. They fall in love. They're montaging their way through life and everything's good. And then one day she steals the money. And then it's like, oh crap. But I thought she did a good job. I really did. And I tried to go into this movie like judging it a little harsher, I guess, because I liked it a lot when it first came out. And I was like, man, maybe it's not as good, or maybe she's not as good. No, she's really good. She's really good. Like that character is a really good character. I'll have her in S tier as well. Then we get to Quantum of Solace. We have a couple girls here. We have Camille, who's the main girl, and then we have Strawberry Fields, who's like I don't know if she's an agent, but she works for like MI6 and or CIA or something, and is kind of on task to watch James Bond. So anyway, Camille is in a revenge tour for I think her mom, her sister were either raped, killed, or something like that early on by the general who's running things. Another plot that I was like, what is going on? But anyway, something about waters and dams in Venezuela. So anyway, Camille, is with Bond to like get there. They get there. She's pretty capable, but also scarred, and has her kind of damaged situations she's working from. But she's good. I liked her a lot as the character she is. Now the problem is, like, I don't think there was a whole lot for that character to do, and there wasn't a whole lot in the movie that really was that interesting. So I'm gonna have her as a B. Strawberry Fields is, like I said, she helps James, trips a guy down the stairs to let him get away, but she ends up getting kind of gold fingered, where she's put in oiled over to black oil, and killed. So anyway, she's just kind of a throwaway character to the side a little bit, but I thought she was kind of spunky and fine. Like, she's still have her as a B. Um, Boy, we get to Skyfall. This is Severine. Uh, I vaguely remember this girl, and I don't know why. Like in Skyfall, it was kind of a non-standard flow, or maybe in a Bond movie. Maybe that's what throws me off. But he ends up like running into her, and she's the one who has to like get him to the island, I think, and then ends up getting shot uh, by Javier Bardem's character with the guns that are like trying to shoot the cup off her head or whatever. Um, so yeah, I don't remember a ton of her. I'll have her as a C because I just can't remember. Probably high C, but not the drink. Okay, we're getting toward the end here. Spectre. These last movies are a little non-conventional. So Spectre, we have another important character, Dr. Madeline Swan. So this is the daughter of Mr. White. Is that right? And the family was killed, like the mom and maybe just the mom is all I remember in that scene. She was hiding under the bed. She comes out of the bed. She shoots the guy, Rami Malek, who's apparently trying to kill them, and then he gets revenge in No Time to Die. But so she ends up being a psychologist. She's like something with, man, you get to like No Time to Die. She's like something with nanobots to go kill Blofeld, because Blofeld, ended up killing her father. She thought James killed her father, but her father killed himself. Like, so much going on. Anyway, I thought she was fine. Like, it wasn't a girl who like threw me out of the movie and was like, oh, they're making her more important she needs to be. But she was a critical character and did fine with it. They ended up having a daughter together, which, was this whole thing. Her acting like it's not his daughter, but it is, and blah, 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 blah. They had been apart for 6 years because James left her thinking she had betrayed him by giving him up to, what was it, visiting his wife's grave and then blowing it up, or Vesper's grave and then blowing it up. So all these Teresa Bond, Vesper things get confusing. So she's fine. I'll have her in the I thought she was pretty good. I'm trying to talk myself into it. Yeah, well, we'll start with an A. We'll see. Okay, we're down to 2. These aren't as consequential. We won't take very long on these. Estrella, almost nothing. She's at the very beginning of a movie. We'll put her as a C. She's Inspector. They're walking through the whole like Day of the Dead stuff. She's on a bed. I think she's an agent. And then he walks out on the ledge and goes and screws up. So that's her. And then the last one is, let's see, is it Ciara? Lucia. Lucia Ciara. So Lucia is the girl he goes, and she's the widow of the guy who's killed, and then he goes and like sleeps with her, and she gives him information about Spectre to go find Spectre. She'd have been great if she was in the movie more. She just was not in the movie, like very small time. But Monica Bellucci, I think, who's playing that. But she's fine. I'd have her as a B. I like the character. She just wasn't in it enough. Okay, so that gets us to the end. We will rank them now in order, and I won't remember the name of all of them for sure, but we'll start at the bottom. in terms of who took me out the movie the most, it's probably her, then Christmas, then Jinx. Okay, we get to down here. We'll put the Bambi and Thumper toward the bottom, the Belly Dancer toward the bottom, the Yacht Girl toward the bottom. Toward the top, any of these. Yeah, I liked her. She's all right. Andrea is probably a little bit more interesting than some of these. Maybe have her. Yeah, I'd have her up here, and then let's move her down. I mean, more of a main character here. We'll put her up here. I liked her. I wish she was in the movie more. I can't remember her name, but the Countess, I remember enough about that I'd have her higher. Same with the Diamonds Are Forever girl. Let's put her, or not View to a Kill girl. Yeah, the girl we just went over here, the Severine, she's better than a lot of these. She just wasn't in it a ton, I think. So I'll have her up toward the top. I like the nurse more than some of these girls. Sauna girl, I don't remember. Let's move her below the nurses. Miss Tarot, that's fine. Those are pretty close, not super important down there. All right, let's get to B. Who's a strong B? Strong Bs. Ooh, this is tough because these are like some that are just like iffy for me. I wish this girl was in the movie more. I liked her. Electra King was good. I liked her more. She did more than her sister. Or felt like she had more gravity to her role than her sister. I'll move her down a little bit, even though she was in a couple of the first ones. Fiona's. This is Fiona. She's higher. Probably Diamonds Are Forever up there. Tracy Bond, like here. I mean, she was fine in Moonraker. Just wasn't like super notable. Octopussy's a little bit better than some of these. Let's put her up there. Miranda Frost. I mean, as stupid as that movie was, I thought she was fine. Same with Michelle. I like the quirkiness enough, I think, to move her up, but I just I'd move her maybe above there. Okay. Good night. We'll probably have Olga above her. You move down a little bit, separate those two. I like, I like Aki more than I'm giving her credit for, I think. I'll have her up there. Okay, let's get to the A's. Now we get to the more interesting stuff up here. We might have some more S's too. Let's see. I don't really know. Okay, we can move Plenty of Tool down a little bit, though she is hot. Okay, moving Natalia up. Ursula Andress. Pussy Galore, I'm going to move down a little bit. She's not my favorite. She's still A tier, but she's not my favorite. Domino, I'm going to move Domino up. I can move her down. Maybe she's more B tier. I'm being a little generous. And I might move Fiona over. Okay. Okay, not bad. Still doing pretty good. I'm going to move From Russia with Love down a little bit. Ursula Andress is great, but she just didn't have a ton to do. Like, I don't have, there wasn't a, maybe I just haven't seen it in a while now, but hot, but not much depth in that movie. Okay, like, she's a very good character. I think I would put Solitaire down just a little because I like the Miriam Diabo character. I think, again, if you were like, oh, in the Timothy Dalton version, like, who would he have gotten married to? I think it's her. Granted, there's only 2 movies. Okay, now the top. I think that's it. Barbara Bach's my favorite. She's been my favorite probably since I was young. Xenia is just an awesome character. She's great. And then Vesper earned it, like, just a classic version of the character. I could argue myself down to, like, oh, I'd prefer Natalia over Vesper, but it's just a very important character. She's very good at it. I didn't expect, like, because I didn't know the story. I didn't expect the turn. I didn't expect anything. And it was like the tone of the movie is just more serious than some of the others, and she's very good at it. So I think that's it. It's something like that. It's close. So that gets us done with the Bond girls. Gets us through the actors, the allies, the girls. So now we only have the villains, the henchmen, the movie themes, and the movies themselves. And then we will wrap it up.